CB24's Lena Ladefat. Thank you, Lena. I want to bring in Mayor Tory for reaction to the Queen's passing. He joins us now. Mayor, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Well, the first thing I want to say on behalf of all of the people of the city of Toronto, which the Queen visited many times, and I think with respect to which she had a great deal of affection, that I offer on behalf of all of the people our condolences to the King and to all the members of the royal family, because this is it's not just the end of an era, because an era generally doesn't last 70 years. She has served and been, as the Prime Minister said, a rock. In all the crises we had, the wars, the pandemics and different things like that, she was the one place you could turn to see stability, to see grace, to see dignity, to see that steady hand that I think is one of the reasons our system works so well, because she performed that role so well. So I do extend my condolences to the members of the royal family and on behalf of all Torontonians who I think had a very special bond with the Queen.
Yeah, Mayor, I think that ties into the next point I wanted to make with you very well, which is what you said earlier today. You said she was a beacon of eloquence, stability, and commitment to duty.
It's remarkable when you think about it, and we'll find out more about what happened. But she was 2 days ago, at the age of 96, receiving a new prime minister and carrying out her duties. And there are very few people who are able to do that, let alone in her case. I think she took a joy in doing it, and I think was reluctant not to carry out her duties. And I think it was very hard for her, it seemed, in recent times when the doctors told her to slow down. But that's what she did. Going all the way back to times before when she was Queen, in the aftermath of the Second World War, and all the way through every crisis, even things that went on in her own family. She was a pillar of strength and stability and decency and caring and compassion. I think she really also initiated the practice that many elected politicians didn't even do at the time, of actually venturing out to talk with the people and to listen to the people and to be close to them. I think a lot of times before her time, a lot of these kinds of public figures were very remote from people, even just staying a distance away and just kind of waving at people. And she had to do some of that, obviously, but she also, tried to forge closer relationships with people who came out to see her. And when she came here to Toronto, she was always just incredibly well received by huge crowds. I wasn't mayor to receive her, unfortunately, at any point, but she was always received very enthusiastically in the city, including, I would say, by a lot of people who were not born under that system. They were born outside of the country. They, thank goodness, came here to make their lives, but I think they came to recognize her as a special person, and the institution she represented as something that is, that works well. I mean, it works well as a system.
Absolutely. I was just going to ask you about how you felt she, I guess, was how people responded to her in the city, but I think that said it perfectly. I also wanted to talk about her legacy now here, first of all, in Toronto. I mean, the legacy that she leaves behind.
Well, I think the main legacy she leaves behind is a system that throughout her 70 years on the throne was working well. If you really think about it, for all the things that are named after her here and things like that, what really matters more is that I think she was at the very center, the epicenter of a system of governance and of a set of values that works very well. And she epitomized those. She epitomized that decency and caring and respect for everybody. And that is at the heart of how we live in Toronto, is everybody is respected by each other. And it started at the top. Sometimes people at the top are disrespectful or are lacking in respect for the people they serve. Not her. We all respected her, but she respected us too. And I think that there's a certain, way of life that she carried off in that job that was very visible to us, that caused us all to, to follow that. And I think that's been an important part of our success in this city and in this country, is that she epitomized those values very well, because that's not always the case.
Mayor, very briefly before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you, I know the CN Tower is set to go dark tonight in honor of her. Are we planning on doing anything else and seeing anything else in the city in terms, I know it's very early on, to memorialize her in Toronto?
But in the early stages, the flags have been lowered already all across the city at city institutions. The sign will be dimmed tonight. That's a sign we have of respect for people who pass, like especially our Queen. And we will open a book tomorrow. I will be the first to sign a book that will be open for people to sign in person if they wish, and there'll be a digital opportunity as well. But I think a lot of people will want to sign in person, and they do, to pay their respects to her. And that will be at the City Hall in the Rotunda tomorrow. And there'll be other locations in the city where people can do that. So that is for starters, and we're looking at other plans in conjunction with the other governments to make sure that we appropriately honor this great life and this great life of service to us, and the outstanding example that she provided to us that I think has so much to do with our success as a city and as a country.
No question, a queen loved by so many here in Toronto. Mayor John Tory, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Okay.